What's up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York here at Aftershock Festival 2022, and we return with Patrick Sheridan of Fit for an Autopsy.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Anytime, man, anytime. It's always great to talk to you. This is now the third album cycle I get to talk to you on.
Yeah.
Oh, what the future holds. Perfect year to start 2022 off, or perfect album to start 2022 off with. Did you consider this just picking up where you left off after the Sea of Tragic Beasts, or was this intended to be a new beginning for Fit for an Autopsy?
I mean, everything is an evolution, right? I've been talking about that all day, and that seems to be like the main shtick that people are saying. Like, Fit for an Autopsy is an ever-evolving band, and I think that's really true. Like, if you listen first record, second record, third, like, you can hear the evolution of the band happening, different influences, things coming in from all directions, and I would say everything is an evolution, man. I don't think a new beginning is real because you can't give up the past experiences, the past writing, the past touring. You know, all of those things are elements of shaping new records. So I think that there's no, like, rebirth, just maybe new momentum is a good way to put it, because, I mean, the new record came out, I mean, we've been working on it and writing it during the craziest time in the world. It was literally the craziest time since any of us have been alive. Like, it was fucking nuts. So there's a lot of influence and a lot of things happening, and it just kind of happened. You know what I mean?
And it's funny you mentioned that too when you say you can't give up the past touring and the past albums and whatnot. But do you think that maybe the concept or the meaning of an album could evolve over time as you evolve as an artist, or is every album meant to be a snapshot of who you are at that particular time?
I think that lyrics are subjective. I mean, if you take the lyrics off of a record, it's just a pile of riffs, right? Which is cool to listen to, and I love a lot of instrumental bands, like shout out to Pelican. But, you know, like, the facts is lyrics are subjective. What means something to me might mean something completely different to you. And if a songwriter or a lyricist is good at writing their lyrics, it's something that can adapt to different people's experiences in life, you know? A sad song might bring me to a different place than a sad song brings you. And that's like a really normal thing. So I don't think that it's a snapshot of who I am or who you are as a person. I just think it's a concept of what's going on for the time, and it's a gateway to the brain of the person who's writing it, but you determine what it means at the end of the day. You know, real lyrical content, you know, yeah, if you're singing about a yellow submarine, the song's about a fucking yellow submarine, but maybe it's also about being on acid and thinking about a yellow submarine. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
There's no rules, you know what I mean?
I'm going to look at that song differently now.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, you have to look at everything with a grain of salt, and you also have to look at everything with an open mind, because the singer might be trying to convey a completely different thing to you, but you just have this is what it means for you, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Definitely.
You know, that's okay, unless it's about something very specific, which is a whole different argument.
Fair
you know
enough.
what I mean?
One thing I've talked about with you, I think I've mentioned it in every interview before, and that's how you've always played with a variety of different bands. This time I want to talk about this. I've seen you in a variety of different venues as well. Sure. I've seen you at St. Vitus and Knitting Factory, rest in peace to that place. But, you know, you've also played big venues like Gramercy Theater, and now you're playing at a massive festival like this. Is the Fit for an Autopsy experience different, would you say, depending on the space that you're playing in?
Oh, 100%. You know, I mean, we all come from the punk and hardcore world, you know? Like, I've always loved metal. I've always been a metalhead for the most part. But, I mean, I grew up with a thrash/punker older brother. And, like, I've been going to shows in the hardcore scene and the punk rock scene, listening to, like, the Bad Brains and Black Flag and, like, stuff like that. And that, which evolved into the New York hardcore scene and the New Jersey hardcore scene. And then all the while loving Obituary and Death and all these things. So my taste is eclectic. But my background for shows is the small venue, is the CBGBs, is the, you know, 50, 100 cap room in basement shows in New Brunswick. So when I play a show like that, I want to be in the crowd. I want people screaming words and spitting on me and, like, you know, the chaos. But then when we get up on a big stage, you got to know how to do that too, like, or you can't evolve.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a different show. It's a little different energy or vibe, but I mean, we still bring it either way.
Was it like at all like nerve-wracking when you saw your first barricade or something like that on stage?
No, I mean, that's a slow evolution, man. You know, we've been a band since 2007, 2008. So, like, we've had the opportunity to do big shows and small shows along the way. And I'm also 46, so I've been playing in bands for a very long time. And I've had the opportunity and been lucky enough to experience a lot of different venues and a lot of different size rooms. And we've been to Europe and played in front of 25, 30,000 people at a festival at like 2 in the afternoon. We've been here now and we played in front of thousands of people here. Like, I can go home tomorrow and, play a fucking 150 cap room and get the same feeling. You know what I mean? So I just love playing music, and I love the atmosphere in both types of venues.
Definitely.
Give me a loud sound system and a bunch of people that are into it, and we're good.
You know what? It's pulverizing every single time, and
it's amazing. I get to fucking yell at people and play guitar. It's the sickest job ever.
Definitely, definitely. Whenever I yell at people, it's just because it's on the fucking subway in New York City, and it's never as cathartic as
Subways are gross, dude.
Yeah. Eat fresh, man. When it comes, though, like to entertaining the crowd, because you mentioned you have that background in punk rock and hardcore and that, that wild energy, is that something you have to practice or rehearse, or is that like a natural evolution where...
I think the aggressive side of music is natural. I think that you can fake it for a little while, but people know when it's real. I think there's a lot of people out there that just fall into that thing, and I think there's a lot of metal bands, like you go see Slipknot, strip down the music a little different and maybe put them in jeans and a t-shirt, and it's just going to look like a bunch of fucking hardcore dudes running around the stage doing the thing. Like, the energy is there if it's meant to be there. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the cool part about the crossover thing that's happening now is, like, hardcore shows are starting to get the technical side of metal bands where the players are getting better and better and better, and they're writing more complex music. It's not maybe, there's something to be said about the simplicity of punk and some hardcore, but also, there are bands out there playing hardcore fucking ripping. So the musicianship is changing in that, and then, like, the hardcore world, you see the fans moshing like hardcore kids now. Like, you see kids stage diving and fucking two-stepping and doing all these things that they only did in the hardcore world back in the day. It's not just push pitting anymore. So this evolution is happening where the extreme music world is becoming universal. When bands like Hatebreed tour with bands like Slayer for years at a time, it's just the natural evolution at that point.
100%.
You know what I mean? And it's fucking beautiful because I love all that shit. Give me all the Madball, all the fucking Death, all the Slayer, like, mix it all up. Give it all. I want to see Hatebreed play with fucking, like, I don't know, pick whatever fucking death metal band, Obituary. Like, we toured with them. What a crazy tour this is. Fit for an Autopsy, Cro-Mags, Obituary, Terror, and Hatebreed.
I was there, man.
It's a fucking crazy tour, and that's the shit I love.
And you know what? That's the shit everybody loved. That was, and not to discredit the other
epic tour.
That was my favorite Fit for an Autopsy show. I loved every show after that. Yeah. But that to me is the most memorable one.
It was really cool. That was a great one. It was a great tour.
Fun fact too. That was Alexi Leho's last show in New York City that day too.
I heard about that.
Yep. Just throw that little fact in there.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, insane. And the final question I wanted to ask you is, you have a lot of albums now going all the way back, and you have a diehard fan base. They want to hear the deep cuts, off the Great Collapse and, even earlier and whatnot. But when you are playing songs from different albums in your set list, does it almost feel like you're going through multiple spaces in time at the same when you're on stage?
I think when you're in live mode, your concern is play the songs tight, put on the show, move around, do the thing, just be good at what you're doing. I don't think about it that much, but I can definitely say that, like, we put the song Two Towers on our set. We did it on the In Flames run that we just finished. And playing that song at the end of the set, man, it was such an interesting vibe because it's still heavy, it's still Fit for an Autopsy, but there's a lot of melodic, like, flowy kind of stuff going on in there. And it made me feel different when I play it in a great way. Like, there's the vibe is different. So that was cool. Like, I'd like to do a little more stuff like that.
Definitely.
Just changes the mood on stage.
Do a residency in New York City, and every day you play in a different album in full.
We've been talking about taking a couple of our records on tour, like doing like a full record thing for a couple different records because, number one, the Sea of Tragic Beasts, we didn't get to really tour on that record too much. So we talked about maybe doing like a few dates on the East Coast and a few dates on the West Coast and like playing that record front to back.
That would be amazing.
And do 2 dates, do like one record, play it back to back, and then the next day come and do like a full mix set.
That would be amazing. That
That's
would be
been
amazing.
discussed, but we don't know if we got the numbers for that yet, but we would like to think we do.
But, trust me, as somebody, you guys have not only the coolest fans, but the most dedicated fans. They would love it.
Yeah, I have to admit that we're very lucky. Our fan base is really great to us, and like we really appreciate it all.
Yeah, I always learn something new from a Fit for an Autopsy fan, which is awesome. So, Patrick, thank you so much, as
Thank you
always.
for having me, man.
Everybody,
It's always great to see you.
Patrick of Fit for an Autopsy. Oh, What the Future Holds, out now. Pick that up. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.
Thanks, everybody.